Hello and welcome to Sovereign RPG. I am Sovereign and we have some updates for you today. We have the patch notes, we have some new feature stuff. I've got an update on the insurance system from Joseph. Nothing too big, just something that's going to be coming up next week with a little bit more information. Some things that you might not be happy with, but you'll have to find out once we go through it. We also have a little bit more information on the Intumescent belts. They've given us the actual equation for how the randomized Intumescent belts are spawned. That'll be towards the end of the video. I will be putting down chapters in the bottom so you'll be able to skip to the parts that you want to see. Remember to chuck up a like if you do enjoy my content. It does help for the video to be shown across the platform for other Eve Echoes players, and it will help me out, and I really do appreciate it. So let's quickly go over some of the new features. They've adjusted the chat interface, they've changed the Alliance channel to blue, the Rookie Help and Custom channel to white, and the System and Local text to yellow. Yellow's a bit of an odd choice. I'm not sure why they would have done that. We have the late claim notifications. A badge was added at the corner of the icon to indicate the email comes with a reward. I have deleted my rewards. I don't even know how many times when I've opened mail while I was flying. I was mid-warp, I was mid-roam, and I forget when I get back to the station to actually get that SP. That's probably why I'm 2 days behind. It's probably why I'm behind the curve, because everyone is 2 days ahead of me. When I was one of the first players into the actual game itself, I keep screwing up, so that's a good thing for me. It's probably a good thing for some of you as well. Number 3, they've improved the patch note screen display. I quite like this screen display. It's simple, easy. Done, dusted. So moving on to the character IDs, they will now be shown on the combat log interface. So those sneaky bastards won't be able to pretend that someone else's combat log is theirs unless they Photoshop it, and you can tell quite easily when someone's Photoshopped something. Moving on to now, if the purchase item is located in the docking station, players will be directly led to the station inventory instead of personal assets by clicking the notice. Guess it's just a little bit of a quality of life change. Doesn't really make that much of a difference. It's the same window. It's just at the bottom instead of the top. Newcomers who have joined a corporation for less than 7 days are now unable to donate money to the corporation. Now, I've already seen and heard some grumbles about this from alliance leaders and corporation leaders, sort of making it more difficult to be able to skip sort of taxes when you're doing a contract, etc. You can send the money straight into the corp wallet, so you get the full amount of the money sent from the players when they're buying ships from the corp, etc. But this is another limitation. This is another thing they've added towards the audit system to further limit how we can play the game. It's starting to get more annoying than not. So moving on to the fixes, they fixed the bug that when withdrawing ISK from corporation, the duration shown in the trade lock confirmation interface may not be consistent with the actual duration. Now, the other day when I pulled out 500 million ISK, I was transferring it from one character to another in the corp to sort of get rid of those taxes and basically committing tax evasion, but don't tell the devs. It showed up as something like 25 hours for me to unlock that 500 million ISK, but in actuality, because I've been in the corp for longer than 60 days, you had that up to 80% audit time lowering. So it was actually 5 hours for me to get those at 500 million ISK, which is not so bad compared to what it used to be. It's definitely not that bad. So the next one, they fixed an issue where the number of Guardians Gala decoders was shown incorrectly after switching accounts. Not sure why they're fixing this now. The event's basically over. It makes no sense, but you do. So they've corrected the name and description in the insurance point tip. I'm not quite sure what that one means. Maybe you can let me know down below. I don't know any bugs that were in that name and description of the insurance point tip. I have not got a clue on that one. I still haven't used the insurance system to reimburse a ship, so maybe there was something there that I haven't seen. And lastly, they fixed an issue where personal assets can be initiated for delivery even when the player has the permissions to dock at a citadel. Normally, assets can only be delivered when one no longer has the permission to dock. Now, I might just be being stupid, which is probably the case. It's been happening more and more recently. But that doesn't seem like that sentence is correct. Although something about that sentence is throwing me for a loop and I have no idea what it actually means. Again, let me know down below what that actually means. Maybe it was only supposed to be initiated if you didn't have access to the citadel so you can get your stuff out. Yep, which is what it says there. I was just being stupid and I didn't read it properly. Imagine. So people were actually able to deliver when you weren't supposed to? Why don't they just give that access all the time? Like, why can't you just have that all the time? I don't understand why you shouldn't be able to initiate a delivery for your personal assets all the time. It makes no sense. Hauling is already dog shit. Why are they just further ruining? I don't know. I don't know. Apologies for that. I just went into a massive coughing fit and almost keeled over in the chair whilst recording. Imagine my last words, bitching about a game's patch notes. So that's all the new features and the fixes that have sort of come up. They haven't had that much time. They've only come back to work since Sunday, so they've only been able to do a few little things. Don't hold that against them. Now let's move on to some announcements for the insurance system. I've been speaking to Joseph and a few of the developers with regards to the insurance system and when are we going to be getting an update? What information are we going to be given? Are things going to be hidden? Is everything going to be open for us to see? And Joseph has told me that they'll be releasing a market report related to the insurance next week. But currently it doesn't seem that any of the data on the overall market side had any significant changes except for those related to Tier 9 bump. Joseph also doesn't expect any huge changes to occur with the system currently. Now, huge changes can be taking out something, putting something in, changing the outcome from blah blah to ISK, or it doesn't mean that they're not going to be making additional changes to it until, or it could just be that they're waiting until May, I believe, from the Trello for the version 2. Maybe April for the version 2 of the insurance system. I haven't looked at the Trello for a little while, so excuse me if I got that wrong. But it doesn't look like there's going to be any major changes. And that's all we have on the insurance system. Now moving on to Intumescent belts. We actually got some information on the sort of maths behind the Intumescent belts, what they do, how they spawn, and how they work. Now I'm going to put this calculation up on the screen because I have not got the fucking foggiest clue what any of this means. So for those of you that do math, you'll be able to sort of understand what this is. I had to get it explained to me by Nina, who is my pocket calculator, who basically helps me out with any of this. Man, I can't even remember how to do long division. That's how long ago I haven't been to school for. That's how long I haven't used any of those sort of calculations, like the pen and paper calculations. So basically the period of the trigger is at a 1 hour rate. So every 1 hour there is a chance for a condensed belt to trigger. So the rate is 0.001045. And then you can sort of see what this is. I'm not going to try and explain the rest of that because I have no idea what those things in the middle mean. And then the intumescent rate is 20% after that. Now, if you're the same as me and you have no idea what the hell this means, Nina was kind enough to explain it. So condensed belts, 0.1% times the number of gates divided by 3. Per hour spawn chance. If a system has 4+ gates, the formula ignores them. So in a dead-end system with 1 gate, for example, it's a 0.033% chance to spawn a condensed belt, 0.066% for 2 gates, and then 0.1% for 3+ gates. When the system rolls successfully for a condensed belt, not the intumescent belt, a condensed belt, it's a 20% chance to spawn the intumescent. So effectively, with a 3-gate system, every hour is a 0.02% chance to spawn an intumescent belt. So Nina did ask if players can influence this by any means. This is just a random chance for these to spawn. Now, I don't know. I know a lot of people have heard about Void doing some of this stuff. I know a lot of people have been hearing about how Void are manually spawning the intumescent belts, but we don't know for sure what they're doing. They're keeping very hush-hush about it. The devs are saying that it's impossible to manually spawn those belts. So if they are manually spawning belts, that just makes it an exploit, which can be bannable, since the devs have said there's no way in the game for you to be able to manually do it. Maybe they're just getting lucky and getting these belts and keeping them held down. So let's talk about how and what the intumescent belts are. So the bases have a chance to level up after a certain period of time if they haven't been wiped out and reset. Intumescent belts are sort of similar. The intumescent belts will level up. Now, the main similarity between bases and intumescent belts is the fact that they both spawn anomalies. Whereas the base spawns the standard anomalies, your smalls, mediums, larges, special anomalies, your inks, scouts, and dead spaces if it is above level 6 for the dead space. Now the intumescent belt does very similar, but it spawns condensed belts based on the level of the intumescent belt. So every so and so amount of time, the intumescent belt will spawn another condensed belt. Now it's not an intumescent belt, they won't be able to spawn another intumescent belt. Now, there's still some testing that needs to be done. If they do have multiple intumescent belts within that one system, there could be something that if you're wiping out the condensed belts that are spawned, maybe that 20% chance to spawn an intumescent is actually counted off of spawning those condensed belts from the intumescent itself. It's the only thing I can sort of think of when it comes to Void being able to spawn as many intumescent belts as people are saying that they're spawning. I haven't gone there, I haven't checked it, I don't know how many they've got there. If anyone does have any screenshots, please join my Discord and send me the screenshots of multiple intumescent belts in the system. But that might be the way that they are doing it. They're keeping that intumescent belt up for a long period of time, giving it more chances to spawn new condensed belts, which could have a chance to spawn an intumescent on top of it. That part I am just guessing. That part is complete speculation. I have no idea if that is even possible. I'm going to pass that on to Nina because I literally just thought of that while I was doing the video. So I'm going to pass that on to Nina. Nina's going to probably do some testing on that to see if it is the case that you can spawn an intumescent belt from an intumescent belt, which might be what the actual thing is. So basically that's all we know for the intumescent belts. We know that there are random chance to spawn them. Now, because of my random eureka moment whilst explaining in this video that I sort of figured, well, maybe there could be a 20% chance for each condensed belt that is spawned. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. But we've only had this information for about 24 hours. The devs only told us about 24 hours ago about the calculation. So this might be the case. Maybe I'm just being an idiot and overthinking it. Who knows? As I said, this happens a lot. Right, so anyway, that's all we have for this week's update. We do have a Patreon set up if you'd like to support the channel. I will be doing some extra content on other things coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be start playing some RPGs. I need to start getting back into I might replay Dragon Age Origins through to Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm going to be definitely playing the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Mass Effect 1 to 3 when that comes out in April or May. I can't remember. It's like the Trello. I have no bloody idea. I can't remember. So if you do enjoy RPGs, make sure to press that bell. There will be daily releases of the RPG Let's Plays. So I can play like for 8 hours in a day, and then I can split those videos up into 30-minute segments for you guys to check out if you haven't had the chance to play these wonderful games, the RPG genre. So anyway, that's all we have for today. Remember to like and sub if you haven't already. This is your one-stop shop for Eve Echo's content. Fly safe and avoid local chat scams.